Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening, our evening Shabbat class, the 6th of January, 2024. Okay, title inside the class for discussion is the book of Zephaniah. We'll read that. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have a lot of videos, excuse me, to be looked at. You know, got a lot of information, so you can check them out. If you like what you're hearing and receiving through the videos, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. And for those that want to support the channel, we have a cash app at the bottom of the screen. Okay, our hours of operation is Tuesday nights from 8 to 10 Central Time. We have our advanced Bible study for everybody. Then we have a Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 Central. We have our reading to the Tanakh, where we do a lot of reading and breaking down scriptures. And then Thursday night, we have our women's advanced Bible study night, Israelite women, and it's from 8 to 10 Central Time. And Friday nights, we have our men's advanced Bible study, but it's on Clubhouse, inside our Clubhouse room, which is non-Messianic Conversations. And that's from 8 to 10 Central Time. Then we come back on the Shabbat, and we have two Shabbat classes, one in the morning Shabbat class from 10 to 12 a.m. And then we close out the Shabbat at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7 at p.m. in the evening, Central Time. Okay? And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. And by that, I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, so-called Book of Remembrance, and we deal with the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer. And it consists of our laws, statutes, our culture, way of life as Israelites. Okay, so I want to say shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our evening Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, an evening Shabbat prayer, and then we'll read the Psalms, do some current events, a little need to know information, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A, and then we'll go into our topic, which is we'll be dealing with the book of Zephaniah, reading out of it and breaking it down. Okay, so this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts. All he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Give out praises to him and recognition. Okay. Oh Lord, we come this day, bow down, honoring you, praising you, and believing in you. We thank you for your wisdom and your knowledge that you have poured out upon us. And through your prophets, you reveal times that we as Jacob's children would endure the tribulation. Keep us, O Lord, guide us and deliver us. We see you now within the Holy Scriptures, and we trust in you, O Lord, with all our heart and soul. Keep not thy silence any longer, but show forth thy to our enemies thy great power and thy great glory. Peace be unto you. Okay. With that being said, we're going to read the Psalms. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll read Psalms 77. It says, "Who is so great a God as our God?" It's a psalm of Asaph, one of David's chief musicians. "I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My soul ran in the night, and I ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Selah, thou holdest mine eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with mine own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. While the Lord cast off forever, will the Lord cast off forever, and will he be favorable no more? In his mercy, clean gone forever. Is his mercy clean gone forever? Does his promise fail forevermore? Have God forgotten to be gracious? Have he in his anger shut up his tender mercies? Selah. And I said, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy works and talk of all thy doings. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Thou art the God that didst all wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thy arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Selah, the waters saw thee, O God, the waters saw thee, they were afraid. Depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out water. The skies sent out a sound. Thine arrows also went abroad. The voice of thy thunder was in the heavens. The lightning lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea, and thy path is in the great waters, and all thy footsteps are not known. Thou leadest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Okay, so that was Psalm 77. Anybody have any comments on that? Yeah, so verse 20, I want to shine a light on that. It says, thou leadest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So when you go back, like I said, to Exodus 23, you see, so if you're leading them like a flock, then that means that he's a shepherd. So chapter 23 of Exodus, verse 20, Yahweh is on Mount Sinai. He's talking to Moses. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. So he's leading them. He's out in front. He's the shepherd. And Moses and Aaron there, just like Asaph said in Psalm 77, verse 20, thou leadest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. They see Moses and Aaron, but the shepherd is the Lord of hosts. He the one leading. But they under Moses and Aaron is under his authority. Okay. So with that being said, we go into some current event.
Something was just announced by the White House that is going to have a ripple effect. And according to many, this could be a massively negative ripple effect for the entire United States. Now, I'm going to address what's going on here, but again, this was just announced, so we do not have all the details. This is coming out of the White House. So keep in mind, they're keeping a lot of this information very secretive because they're still working through it. So just bear with me. I'm going to read this article, show you exactly what's happening, why this is potentially disturbing for millions and millions of Americans, and explain where we go from here. So all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. Now let's begin. So first of all, you may have already heard me talk about some of this stuff, but what I'm going to tell you today is even more disturbing than what I talked about earlier on this week when I said that because of all the immigrants coming into the United States, or illegal immigrants coming into the United States, the federal government is trying to find ways to put these people in some type of shelter, whether it's a tent, whether it's an actual home, a hotel, doesn't matter. just put them into some shelter. Well, guess what? The White House is continuing to work on this. Here's what we know. According to CNN yesterday, they say the White House looks for federal spaces to house migrants amid pressure from cities. Now, I'm going to get into this article in just a moment, but the reason why I really want to touch on this is because this is what we have been pretty much saying from the beginning, that there are millions of people that are struggling because they don't have affordable housing. And there were multiple talks and discussions years ago, especially during the pandemic. Let's provide some of these federal buildings and let's make affordable housing. Guess what? It didn't happen. But now that we have hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants into the United States, well, actually millions, it's now turning into a bigger crisis. And according to reports, the Biden administration has nowhere to go. Their hands are tied. Well, right now, according to a statement from the Congressional Budget Office, the federal government currently has roughly 8,000 unused properties. This was as of July 2023. Now, they're looking at using those properties to house illegal immigrants. Now, why? Why would they even consider this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The reason why they have to do this is because they have these properties here. Governors are now saying that the federal government needs to step up and do something, because if they don't, then these states and these cities are going to have to use their own budget, their own money to house these people. Well, it's now starting to blow back in their face. And now my administration says they have to do something. If Congress will not pass a bill to provide more funding to the Biden administration and to the border, well, this is their only option. Now, keep in mind, this was just announced. We don't have a lot of information yet, but the expectation is they are going to take schools. These are unused schools, okay? Or schools that are underperforming where those students can be pushed over to a different school. They're discussing this, taking a school, an unused school, taking something like libraries that, again, are unused, churches that are unused, okay? They are looking at all ways to provide housing for illegal immigrants. I talked about this earlier this week, so if you were able to watch that video, thank you, okay? But in that video, I talked about how they were looking at using different campgrounds, okay? Campgrounds where someone could go pitch a tent and they can stay there for weeks or months on end. They're still discussing that. They're talking about any federal building. It could be an old post office, could be a storage facility, and use some funding to erect rooms, right, or put cots, so then people can stay there. Guess what? That's going to cost the U.S. taxpayers more money. Because if we are not charging for these facilities, well, somebody has to pay for the utilities. That's water, right? That's garbage. If we have to pay somebody to manage that facility, that's another cost. Well, and then we still have utilities like lights. That's expensive. Now, one thing I can tell you is that right now, the White House is continuing to respond because of all these concerns. And right now, the White House responded to growing migrant crisis in Chicago after 4 more buses are expected. Okay? Again, this was from yesterday. This is a huge concern. The White House is trying to put more pressure on the cities. They're trying to put more pressure.
Get the fast internet you need and the gift you want.
The United States Congress trying to put more pressure on Mexico. Right? It's turning into a problem. I want to show you this one as well. It says more Chicago suburbs vote to restrict unscheduled migrant bus drop-offs. Now, this is happening because Chicago has a city ordinance where you cannot drop off busloads of people at a specific time. Guess what? They're being dropped off in other suburbs. Well, there is a problem with this though, because what is happening is some companies are getting a lawsuit. Look at this. New York City is suing the Texas charter bus companies for $700 million. $700 million is what they're suing them for. Because
okay, any comments on that?
Shalom. That is far as them trying to make up why they're going to be housing the immigrants. Again, I always come back to housing the homeless should have been the first priority. And now they're saying that just like they stayed outside of the Chicago police station with tents and all kinds of things until the weather got really, really tough, then they moved them somewhere else. I don't know where they moved them, but they're gone now. And then as far as the taxpayers paying the utilities and running water to what building, they own the building, if that state owns the building, then they should be responsible for the lights and the water and what have you.
Okay, yeah. When I look at that, it reminds me of our sojourn in Egypt. When Moses finally returned to Egypt, he kept giving the Pharaoh all these options that was being relayed to him from the Lord of hosts, but he wouldn't hear it. He bring plagues and all this on them, and he get madder and madder. And you're looking at the same thing here. They already, it's obvious they owe us for all the atrocities and all the unpaid labor that they didn't do, and they continuously, which is an insult, to say they don't have the funds or the means to do it. But you come up with the means to support Ukraine. You come with money out of everywhere. You come with money for the support Israel. You're going all the way out your way to help these immigrants. The amount of immigrants that's coming in is crashing this country. But they he had been on supporting these people. So, but you come up with everything, you figure out a way to do all that, but you won't figure out a way to do what's right when it comes to the reparations and doing what you need to do for what America done to the African American. And then you want to know why all the drama is coming to this place. Okay. So with that being said, peep this out.
So I came across a sister on TikTok who is telling us what we need to do as it relates to them folks and, their fake outrage of not being included in things that pertain to us, things that we do for our people and them not being invited and the way that they react and the recordings that they put up, because they just so badly want to be oppressed. And so let's listen to what this sister has to say.
This is going to be my last and final time even acknowledging the over there, okay? If they're not invited, they throw tantrums and they crash the party anyway. What they have done is made videos of fake outrage of being excluded from something that's ours, so we will respond, stitch, go to their pages and comment, and end up still putting them in the trend anyway. They know exactly what they're doing. And don't respond, don't stitch, don't comment, don't know their name, don't show nobody who they are. Bury them in the algorithm and the trend.
So I do agree with this sister to a certain extent. There are often times where we just ignore them, especially when they're just talking and saying things like who cares, or asking us questions when we're in places and spaces that they don't feel we belong. We can certainly ignore them, but boy, oh boy, it is hard, God knows. Especially when you are faced with it on a regular basis. Like every time you go out somewhere, somebody's got to be in your face. Every time you go to an event, somebody's got to be in your face. Anytime you're doing something that's for our people, by our people, they got to be in here crying out in the wilderness as though they are the oppressed ones and they are the ones that are discriminated against, which is the peak of hypocrisy. However, they do it, and it is hard sometimes. It's hard, especially when they are sometimes they're even physical with you. At what point do we say we're going to just go high when they go low? It's not always easy. It is not always easy. But the sister is saying something that, we can definitely take some advice over. It definitely takes a lot of patience, you name it. But not everyone's going to have that level of temperament where they're just going to keep putting up with it and not feel a need to respond or defend, particularly when it's something that, is by our people, for our community. And they want to crash the party and be a part of it and question why they are not. Well, because it's not for you. You have your thing, you do your thing. You make it clear to us on a regular basis that we are other and we don't belong. So when we're building our own thing, we don't have a right to be a part of it. Let me know what you all think about this. Do you think that?
Okay. Any comments on that? Yeah, I think that's what get us in trouble a lot is that we think we give them ear to so much. It's a lot of stuff that is done that they do that it's like water on a duck bag. You shouldn't even comment on it. Shouldn't even pay no attention to it because it don't mean nothing. It ain't going nowhere. Like I say, they in a sinking ship. They on the Titanic and it's sinking. So go on and let them sink. You don't need to pay attention to nothing they say or do. But we tend to get caught up in their conversations or things that they're doing. And if you see Israelites over there responding to it, let them go down with them in the ship. Like we talked about this morning. Okay? So I had talked about this morning about those aliens, those Nephilim in the mall in Florida. I'm trying to think of better.
Conspiracy theorists, get your tinfoil hats on because we have got reports of 8 to 10 foot humanoid beings running around a mall in Miami on January the 1st, so New Year's Day. And the footage it's gone absolutely viral, showing people running from the mall, people going absolutely mental, the police absolutely swarming the place. But is it real? That's what we're going to be covering in today's video. Before we get into it though, be sure to get down into the pinned comment and into the description and go and subscribe to the Haunted Files, our brand new YouTube channel for all of our haunted paranormal videos. If you want that type of content, head over to that channel. And while you're down there, be sure to drop a like on this video, but don't go there until you've seen this because this gets absolutely wild. So, the first thing that I heard about this was from a Drama Alert post, which stated Miami Mall alien incident. A Miami Mall was shut down by police, and rumors are being spread about 8 to 10 foot tall shadowy aliens. Reports are saying that it was, quote, kids fighting. And this was the footage that was brought with it.
Esta es una llamada a todas las unidades de la ciudad de Miami. Esto es en Bayside ahora. y 35 de la noche de hoy, 1 de enero, frente a Bayside. No saben lo que está pasando.
with fireworks, and that was the actual story that broke across the Miami Herald and Newsweek 90, as we can see here, showing that, of course, showing the initial incident, but also providing a little bit of context as to what actually happened. Take a little look at this. Who apparently is a first-hand witness to the supposed alien figures that were caught that night. Here's what he had to say.
So, since nobody's going to talk about it, I figured, fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was down in Miami for the New Year's, you know what I'm saying? Me and my girl, I got a little timeshare. We was down there on a, like a mini vacay, just to start the New Year's off right. So anyway, we happened to be at that mall. So we had Foot Locker or whatever. Next thing you know, you start hearing all this commotion outside, sound like firecrackers or something. So, you know what I'm saying? I grab her close. I'm like, yo, we about to get up out of here, because I originally thought that they were shooting. You know what I'm saying? I thought, some type of gunfight had broke out, whatever the case is, because we're not familiar with Miami, we're not familiar with the city. So I'm like, damn, I ain't even got my blick. So you know what I'm saying? We about to swerve. Next thing I know, it's like crazy. Like, we just see all these people running, like, fat chicks, old ladies, like, I'm talking about moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, old people even move. I'm talking about moving. So, my girl, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, fuck all that. We out. Like, I'm not going to ask no questions. We just going to follow the crowd. Next thing you know, real, like, gunshots start going off. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to follow the crowd, get out of there. I look back, no cap, yo. No cap. I look back, it looked like a big ass shadow, but it was solid at the same time, like a few shadows, but they were solid at the same time. And it almost looked like they was coming our direction, like they was chasing us, but they was disappearing and reappearing closer. So I'm like, yo, what? So we start really moving. Next thing you know, we start hearing more gunshots. Like, these dudes start firing at this shit. Get outside, mad police, all that. You know what I'm saying? The police is like trying to get all the people that ran out the mall. They like trying to detain these people, whatever. But me and my girl, we ended up just sliding past all that and everything like that. But a lot of people saying, why didn't nobody film and all that? When that type of shit is going on, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, like some paranormal, nobody thinking about no phone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going survival mode. But for real.
So, of course, this is the only account that I believe that has come out publicly, supposedly, of someone who was there. Obviously, there's no proof that this man was ever actually there, and there is no proof of any of this, really. But his account is the only one that we can go off of. Now, for anyone that may have missed this the first time round, this is the figure that this man is talking about being shadowy, but quite opaque at the same time. Take a little look at this. And at the same time, there has been another account not made by video, but just a statement on X, which goes like this. I was at the Miami Mall yesterday, and the government is lying. There were no kids fighting. Everyone started panicking because these grey creatures were walking around. They didn't make any noise or any sounds, but stared and watched you move. I tried to take a video, but... And of course, there was a CBS Miami news report.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody doing any research on that? Okay. So with that being said, I'm opening up for some Q&A, questions or comments. Anybody got any questions or comments or something they want to talk about from this lesson this morning, from the morning Sabbath class?
Shalom.
Okay.
Is that the same one we heard this morning? But I think it was a woman saying it. So is this 2020 or 2023 for the Nephilim that they saw
No,
in Miami?
this happened a couple days ago.
Just okay, because there was one that was happening in 2020 from the lady, but so it's frequent. It's happening again. Okay.
Yeah, this, the only one I knew about was this one.
Well, the one that we listened to, was that this morning where there was a female talking about it rather than this male?
Yeah, yeah, that's the same event.
Or that was the same one? Okay.
Yeah. Right. Anybody else? Anybody got any comments or questions about this morning conversation or Friday last night? You want to bring up? So I wanted something I had left out this morning that I thought was important was about the seven, the power of seven. So when you say 7 times 7 is 49, right? So the time that's being kept in heaven by the angels and by the Creator is Jubilees. That's why you got the book of Jubilees. Jubilees is 50 years. So 7 times 7 is 49. Then the next year is the Jubilee. So like, and the reason I'm showing you that or expressing that is because of it's not like it's some far-fetched thing. So when you say 8th day, it's the same thing. 6 days that you work, 7th day you rest, you keep the Shabbat, then the 8th day comes. So it's no different than that. It's the same with the Jubilee. And then that also, when you start talking about prophecies, that these prophets was given these prophecies about these angels, the prophecy come to pass according to the Jubilees, the time frame that the time that the angels and the way the heaven works. So even though on the earth they didn't hoodwink our time by the calendars and the stuff they didn't concocted, but that's here on the earth. It's not affecting nothing that's going on in heaven. Whatever's been prophesied is still gonna happen because it's just a whole different time measurement. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna go to the book of Zephaniah, and since it ain't that many chapters, it just take turns. If somebody want to read, we'll read a chapter, break it down. I think it's like 3 chapters in this Zephaniah. So somebody want to read the first chapter? Or?
Yes, sir. Let me get my glasses. Hold on. Zephaniah chapter 1. The coming judgment on Judah. Verse 1. The word of the Lord which came unto Zephaniah the son of Kashi, the son of Gedaliah, and the son of Amira, the son of Hezekiah, and the son of Josaniah, the son of Amon, king of Judea. I will utterly consume all things from off the land, said the Lord. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord. Verse 4. I will also stretch out my hand upon Judea and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the raiment of the Baal from the place, and the name of the Shamarons with the priests, and them that worship the hosts of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord, and that swear by Melachim, and them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, nor inquired for him. Hold thy peace at the presence of the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand, for the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guests. Verse 8. And it shall come to pass in all the days of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the prince and the king's children and all such as are clothed with strange apparel. In the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their master houses with violence and deceit. Verse 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, ye inhabitants of Mestish, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. And it shall come to pass at the time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that saith in their heart, the Lord will do not good, neither will he do evil. Verse 13, therefore their goods shall come a booty, and their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. The great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasten greatly even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Verse 15, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Verse 17, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 1 through 18.
Okay, any comments?
This sounds like the end, the judgment. So when it said this morning, when we talked about and you clarified the Lord God and then the Lord, and you talked about the Creator coming down twice in fire and cloud. And here, when it says in verse, I think this is the one. It says it in two different ways. It says the Lord God and then the Lord. So here in verse 17, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, as their flesh as the dung. So this Lord, this is Michael, this Lord,
Yeah.
that they've
Lord
sinned
God.
against. Okay, Lord God is Michael.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So then,
Yes, sir.
right. So when you look at verse 5, it says, this is another example of what I was showing you the other day in Ezekiel, when the Lord of hosts told Ezekiel to dig down in the wall, and there was a door. He said, there was a hole. He said, look in there and see what they're doing. And it was 70 men in there. They had images and stuff on the wall. They was worshiping. They were pagan worship from the people around them, to let them think what they had learned. The people around them, and we see it right here in Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 5. And them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord, they priests, these priests. Like I say, when you start looking at right divine and everything, you see it's the priest. So it's the priest, right? You see they swear by the Lord because they know.
Yes, sir.
It's been passed down through their lineage. They know the Lord, but it says they swear by the Lord and they swear by Michin. That's a deity. Canaanites worship. So go to when they brought the people in, took the 10 tribes out, and brought those heathens in the land of Israel, and took the cities, occupied the cities. So they had to go, Lord of hosts was sending lions to kill them. So they got distressed because of that, because the lions was killing so many of them. They went back and told the king of Assyria, you sent us over here, and the God that dwells here, he's sending lions killing us. Can you send us some of those priests that live here, that know their God? So he sent some. They showed them. He showed them the laws, statutes, and the judgments of the Israelites. And so they learned those laws, statutes, and the commandments. They learned all that, but they continue to worship their God. So we see the Israelites doing the same thing. This is what they picked up from them. It says in verse 5. And them that worship priests. So if they worship them, they got other people under them worshiping. So it says, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord, and that swore by making, and them that are turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, nor inquired of him. Hold thy peace at thy presence of the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand, for the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice, and he hath bid his guests. So this is what I was telling you about the Lord of hosts. They want you to think that it's only one Lord of hosts. I mean, one day of the Lord. Every time Israel starts sinning and the Most High comes and judge it, that's the day of the Lord. That means he visited them. And he visited upon their sin. Then the next time he come back again because they sin, it's the day of the Lord. When he come and deal with their sin, the sin that's going on with Israel, or sin that's in the earth, that's the day of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
So that needs to be understood. Okay, so we're going to read chapter 2. Somebody want to read that? And I'll read chapter 3.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Zephaniah chapter 2. Seek the Lord. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired. Be the decree, bring forth before the day pass, as the chaff before the fierce anger of the Lord. Come upon you before the day of the Lord's anger, come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. For Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon a desolation. They drive out Ashdod at the noonday, and Ekron shall be rooted up. Woe unto the inhabitants of the sea coast, the nations of Korathites. The word of the Lord is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there shall be no inhabitant. And the sea coast shall be dwelling in cottages for shepherds and folds for flocks. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed thereupon. In the houses of Ashkelon shall they lay down in the evenings, for the Lord their God shall visit them and turn away their captivity. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revealings of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. Verse 9. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. Even the breedings of netlets and salt pits and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. 10. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Lord of hosts. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, everyone from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. 12. Ye Ethiopians, also ye shall be slain by my sword. Okay. And he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria. And he will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness. And flocks shall lay down in the midst of her. All the beasts of the nations, both the Comoret and the bitterns shall lodge in the upper lintels of it. Their voice shall sing in the windows. Desolation shall be in the thresholds, for he shall uncover the cedar work. Verse 15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt careless, that said in her heart, I am, and there is none besides me. How is she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand. That was Zephaniah chapter 2.
Okay, so what you got out of that?
In the first part of this, Zephaniah was calling upon the people to seek the Lord, right? But
Right.
then as we get over to chapter 9, shall I say?
Verse 9?
Yes, I'm sorry, verse 9. Yes, sir. He was speaking of the fall of Nineveh, right?
Okay. Right.
And which is the capital of Assyria?
Exactly.
Yes, was I right? Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, sir. And is that where the 10 tribes were taken?
Right.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So when you see that, what light bulb should go off?
Okay.
At the 10 tribes there?
Yes.
That's what he's talking about. He says 9. Therefore, as I live, says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the bleeding of the needles and the salt pits and the perpetual desolation, and the residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Lord of hosts. That's the 10 tribes. Right? The Lord will be terrible upon them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men will worship him, everyone from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. And this right here justify that Ethiopia ain't no Israelites, right? It says, ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by the sword, and he will stretch out his hand against the north. Watch this, and he shall destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh, the 10 tribes there, right? Make Nineveh even a desolation, and that's why he's making a desolation to free the Israelites. So, and dry like a wilderness, and flocks shall lie down in the midst of her, and all the beasts of nations, both the cormorant and the bittern shall lodge in the upper lintels of it. Their voice shall sing in the windows. Desolation shall be in the threshold, for he shall uncover the cedar work. So all the back then, that's what they built their houses out of cedar. It's like with the temple. They built the temple out of cedar wood and overlaid it with gold. So when he say he's gonna uncover it, he's gonna tear it down till you're gonna see the cedar work. So anyway, 15. This is the rejoicing city that dwell carelessly. Go to Revelations. This is the rejoicing city that dwell carelessly, that said in her heart, I am. There's none besides me. How has it become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passes by her shall hiss and wag his hand. So he came and destroyed Nineveh to turn the captivity of the 10 tribes. It said it up here. I'm trying to find it. It says, you read it. It said, turn the captivity. What verse is that? Revelation and 7.
Verse 7, Brother Leonard.
Yeah, it says, and the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed their own in the houses of Ashkelon shall they lie down in the evening, for the Lord their God shall visit them, turn away their captivity. So they in captivity. For him to turn the captivity means he came to cut it off, like he did in Egypt. He sent Moses and Aaron, and they turned the captivity, cut it off. So chapter 3, he says, Jerusalem sin and redemption. It says, woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord. She drew not near to her God. Her princes within her are roaring lions, like judges or evening wolves. They gnaw not to the bone till the morrow. So this Levites, predominantly Levites, the prophets, and Judeans. 4. The prophets, there it is, are light and treacherous persons. Priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every one morning doeth he bring judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. I have cut off the nations. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passeth by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is no inhabitant. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instructions, so their dwellings shall not be cut off. However, I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings. Therefore, wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to pray. For my determination is to gather the nations, and that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my supplements, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring my offerings. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in their pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. And I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of the Lord. The remnant of Israel shall not be do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall the deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion, shout, O Israel, be glad, and rejoice with all thy heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. The Lord hath taken away thy judgments. He hath cast off thy enemies. The King of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not, and to Zion, let not thy hand be slack. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful from the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you up again, even in the time that I gathered you, for I will make you a name and a praise among the people of the earth, when I have turned back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord. There you go again, turn captivity. But I want to shine light on verse 17. It says, the Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice, right, over thee with joy. He will rest in his love, and he will joy over thee with singing. So right here, the Lord host bust out singing. You know, that's some David, like I said, all David and all the musicians and ASAP, all they doing is what the God do. They singing, got the ability to sing because he got the ability to sing. It ain't just Lucifer that can bust a note. Okay, any comments?
Shalom. That's the first time I've read that, but I actually didn't, I guess pick it apart that the
Right,
Lord of Hosts burst out and saying, because I have read that before, but I didn't put that together.
right. And like I was saying, that's they vibrational beings, and musical beings. That's why he says, don't, when you calling on him, don't try to do it, use telepathy. He said, cry aloud, use your voice, and cry aloud. That's how they respond. That's what Gabriel told Daniel when you first started crying out, putting on sackcloth and ashes and fasting. I heard you, but I was held up. I didn't. It took 21 days for me to get to you because these fallen angels was I got into it with them. I got held up, but I heard you on the first day when you first started doing it. Right. And then we even see in the beginning when it says that when the Most High created Lord of Hosts and Yahweh was created and formed and all that, it said the angels were singing. They're rejoicing. That means singing. It's part of rejoicing. And so when you understand that, then you go to the temple. Both of the temples. In the beginning, when Solomon built this temple, the whole time, from the time of the construction till they finished, they had choruses. And choruses of men came in and they were singing the whole time it was building. And then we see the same thing with when Zerubbabel came back. Zechariah and Zechariah and Haggai and all of them, they was there. They were singing, prophesying and singing the whole time that he was building the temple, erecting it. Okay. You did something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about before we hit an hour already? Right at an hour. Anybody got anything they want to talk about, chop up before we leave?
Shalom. So, in the midst of the singing and rejoicing, they're doing that because there's no. He got rid of all the people that lie and all the priests that does wrong. All those people are gone. It's just the people that are serving him are there. So they have no fear no more. So they are singing and rejoicing for the fullness of their heart, knowing that they are have the Lord has come back and saved them from captivity.
Right. Exactly. And that's the all those talents, people they talk about it, then they try to downplay it, but they know it's a grave difference between us and them, whether it's Gentiles or whether it's Ethiopians or whatever. The Israelites got all these gifts, overwhelming gifts. It's obvious, just over here in America. We outshine them because of the gifts that we was given. But those gifts that we using today wasn't given to us for what we doing today. It's because we was cast out over here. Those gifts was used for worship in the temple. That's why he gave us those gifts. And because we've been displaced, we've been exploited by them. And so you see the metal in their work because of being that we're in captivity and being oppressed, is what brought jazz. Oppression, melanin being oppressed brought rap, billion-dollar industries. That's just on a whim. Soul music, R&B, all that's coming from the gifts that he gave us. Like I was saying, we musical beings. That's our nature. And so we made in their image, they musical beings. Just like we are, we got it from them. Okay.
Shalom. And I believe there are messages are in some of the songs that's been sung and to the people. You just have to have the ears to hear and pick up those messages within the singing of the songs of rejoicing.
Right. Yeah, it tells you, like Psalm 32. I mean, Deuteronomy 32. Let me say, Deuteronomy 32 is a song of Moses. Moses prophesying to them about what's going to happen to them after he passed on. The Lord had already showed him all that, but Moses delivered it to them in a song. And then at the end of Joshua's life, Joshua sung to them. Like I said, that's where all this talent coming from. We just act as if it just popped up out of nowhere. No, we got a long history and who we are, because these are signs to tell you who we are. Yeah. Okay.
Shalom. I was thinking about it as you was reading that, right? And you said that the Lord of Hosts started singing, right? And I was, having a conversation with a sister today, a great sister, and we were talking about, the difference. He breathed life into Adam, right? So you got to look at that. That is why we're so talented. There's nothing that he cannot do, even down to singing. So that breath of life means a lot.
Exactly.
That just came to me as we were talking about that in Zephaniah, and going back thinking about chapter 2 when it says and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Right. So we go back to 21:26. Let us go down and make man in our image.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see it right there. So they got, and then you look at the Lord of Hosts in Isaiah 43. He says, "I was the first one formed." And then you know that Michael means he who is like Yahweh. Okay, so the Lord of Hosts telling you, which is clarification who David is. David is a man after my own heart. David just like him. David busting notes.
Yes, sir.
David singing songs. So all it is an anointing that's rolling down from Yahweh made the Lord of Hosts, and that anointing rolling off of him, rolling down to David. It ain't rolling to Yahweh. So that's why David is musical. Because of that.
Yes.
Even the serpent, he's musical. Samuel. Ain't that something?
That's big, yes, sir.
Right, and like I said, that's why, like I said, that's why we was tortured. I heard some people talking about this today, but that's why we was tortured, because they saw all those talents in us, and then when we looked at them, the spirit of, like the Pharaoh said to Joseph, I see the spirit of God in you. So he couldn't, they couldn't stand us to look at them because they're so wicked. And then just for us to gaze upon them, condemn them, and that got a lot of us killed. Oh, yeah. Is there something?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So anybody got anything else? We'll close out. Everybody good?
Good.
Shalom. I'll see everybody Tuesday for our bad Bible study.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.